What's going on, guys? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship. Today, at the request of Mr. Sam Thurman, we'll be covering one of Paizo's core deities. She's been with us a while, arguably one of the most important deities in the Pathfinder universe. Today, we're talking about Sarenrae. As always, this channel is supported by patronage, and patronage is the #1 way to help us do bigger, better things. If you'd be interested in becoming this channel's patron, the link is, as always, in the description. Today, this episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship is brought to you by the Inn of Planar Crossroads. You guys will be seeing this on February 14th, which means the deadline to submit a character for the Inn of Planar Crossroads special one-shot is in fact tomorrow. So if you might be interested in that, click this card right here and you'll be directed to the giveaway video. Now let's dive in. Sarenrae is known to her faithful as the Dawnflower, the Healing Flame, and the Everlight. She's a goddess who teaches temperance and patience in all things. Compassion and peace are her greatest virtues, and if enemies of the faith can be redeemed, they should be. Of course, in the case of things like evil outsiders or undead, Sarenrae's teachings preach the swift justice delivered at the edge of the scimitar. Sarenrae expects her faithful to be skilled at swordplay, both as a form of a martial art to center your mind and body, and that so when they do go to battle, their foes don't suffer any longer than they absolutely have to. Sarenrae is one of the oldest gods in existence. She was created by Ys back in the day, a long time ago, and we talked about this in our Asmodeus video, which you can watch at this card here. And she served as Ys's right hand in the first war between the gods of chaos, led by Ys, clashing with the gods of law, led by Asmodeus. Sarenrae confronted Asmodeus when the Prince of Darkness slew Ys and was nearly killed, but Asmodeus realized he could never quench her resolution and that his battle was hopeless. He then, of course, as we all know, abandoned the war and retreated into hell. Sarenrae is also known to be among the early gods that battled Rovagug in defending all of creation. During this magnificent war, the Dawnflower cast down Rovagug to the center of Golarion, and it's believed that after Asmodeus bound the rough beast there, Sarenrae placed therein the raging flames of the sun as an eternal torment. Sarenrae repaired the gash in the earth and commanded her followers to avoid the scar that remained, but during the Age of Anguish, her faithful living in nearby Ninchenbur misinterpreted her instructions and instead flocked to the area, eventually founding the settlement of Gormuz there. Sarenrae continued sending portents and visions to her faithful in Gormuz, but they were all ignored or misinterpreted. She even went so far as to send her Herald Kohal to the people of Gormuz, but they've been so corrupted by the dreams of Rovagug that they just killed him. In response to this, Sarenrae smote Gormuz with her scimitar, destroying it completely and creating an enormous rent in the earth that eventually became known as the Pit of Gormuz. So most of the things in Pathfinder have a direct real-world correlation. In the case of some of the deities, it's just a complete copy-paste into Golarion's universe. In the case of Sarenrae, one of the most powerful deities in Golarion's lore, we're looking at a direct correlation to Islam. Islam is a religion of peace and it teaches redemption, but there are passages in its holy text for punishing infidels, and Sarenrae is basically the same thing. Everything can be redeemed, everything can be forgiven, but if something doesn't want that forgiveness or redemption willingly and threatens the peace and stability of somewhere, again, it's the swift justice of the edge of the scimitar. Sarenrae manifests herself as a bronze, angelic beauty with golden hair composed of flowing flame. She emits a holy light which trickles down like liquid luminescence from one hand, while the other holds a scimitar emblazoned with radiant fire. Sarenrae counts all the non-evil gods as her friends and even communicates with the evil deities in hopes of converting them from their evil ways. She has some distrust for Asmodeus because, ages-old conflict. He slew his brother who Sarenrae served in a war. It makes things really complicated, but her only true enemy is Rovagug. Sarenrae in the Inner Sea is worshipped primarily in Absalom, Katapesh, Osirion, Thuvia, Taldor, though her worship in Taldor has been contested over the years, and of course Qadira, basically the eastern part of the map, but the majority of her faithful hail from the Padishah Empire of Kalesh, where she is held as their patron deity. Worship of Sarenrae was brought over with intents of peace and redemption, but followers of her faith who are a little less peace and forgiveness are notorious for stirring up a bunch of trouble. Specifically, we're talking about the Cult of the Dawnflower. The Cult of the Dawnflower is a militant sect of Sarenrae worship, which has risen to become the dominant faith in Qadira. The tribal nomads say there are no second chances in the desert, and the cult of the Dawnflower has taken this moral to heart. They offer mercy once, and only once, to their opponents, and if that mercy is refused, they are ruthless in battle, ignoring any offers for parley or surrender, and unafraid to judge neutral opponents, as if they were as black-hearted as the most black-hearted of evildoers. By and large, the cult of the Dawnflower had risen out of a close alliance between elements of the Qadiran government and certain leaders of the faith. Members of the cult believe Taldor is in need of cleansing with blade and fire, and continue border tensions with Taldor and Qadira are often exacerbated by members of the cult of the Dawnflower. In 4528 AR, worship of Sarenrae in Taldor was outright banned, and was not again legalized until after the end of the Grand Campaign in 4603. Of course, present-day Taldor would never outlaw a good aligned religion within their borders. The same thing happened in Osirion. In 1532 AR, the pharaoh Menendez the 26th was overthrown, and the country became a satrapy of the Empire of Kalesh. By 2217, the cult of the Dawnflower was flourishing in Osirion, but the satrapy viewed it as a threat, and the cult's leaders were driven into exile into the desert. This was probably a wise thing to do, because in 2253 AR, the cult assassinated the last Qadiran satrap, ending their exile and leading to the establishment of a line of Keleshite sultans independent of the Padishah Empire. Sarenrae doesn't have stats because she is not an Imperial Lord, not an Archdevil. No, she's a real, well and true god. If she shows up on the battlefield, you probably just die. But she does have a lot of other stuff because, again, she's a core deity. She's been with us forever and ever and ever. Sarenrae's paladin code reads, "I will protect my allies with my life. They are my light and my strength. As I am their light and their strength, we rise together. I will seek out and destroy the spawn of the rough beast. If I cannot defeat them, I will give my life trying. If my life would be wasted in the attempt, I will find allies. If any fall because of my inaction, their deaths lie upon my soul, and I will atone for each. I am fair to others. I expect nothing for myself but that which I need to survive. The best battle is a battle I win. If I die, I can no longer fight. I will fight fairly when the fight is fair, and I will strike quickly and without mercy when it is not. I will redeem the ignorant with my words and my actions. If they will not turn towards the light, I will redeem them by the sword. I will not abide evil and will combat it with steel when words are not enough. I do not flinch from my faith and do not fear embarrassment. My soul cannot be bought for all the stars in the sky. I will show the less fortunate the light of the Dawnflower. I will live my life as her mortal blade, shining with the light of truth. Each day is another step toward perfection. I will not turn back into the dark." Sarenrae is neutral good. Her domains include fire, glory, good, healing, and sun, with the subdomains Agathian, day, heroism, light, redemption, restoration, resurrection, and revelation. Her favorite weapon is the scimitar, and in order to perform her obedience, we must offer to heal a stranger of his wounds, either by using the powers granted to you by Sarenrae or with a potion, scroll, or other item you possess. Tell the stranger it is by the will of Sarenrae that you share your healing gifts. You may also use your heal skill to perform this active healing service. If you can't find a stranger who will accept your offers, stand beneath the open sky during the daylight hours. Blindfold yourself with a red and gold scarf and try to locate the sun in the sky through the layers of fabric. In return, we gain a +2 sacred bonus on perception checks, or, the most rolled skill in Pathfinder. Great, we'll take it. Sarenrae's evangelist boons give us Cure Light Wounds thrice a day, Aid twice a day, or Remove Curse once a day. At 16th level, you've spent so much time in the sun, reveling in Sarenrae's power and meditating on her glory that its fiery rays have soaked into your very soul. Thus, you get Fire Resistance 10. At 20th level, your devotion to the Dawnflower allows you to wrap your weapon in her cleansing flames to bring better justice to her foes. For a number of rounds per day equal to 1 + 1 for every 4 hit dice you possess, a maximum of 6 rounds, you can cause flames to wreathe your weapon. Any weapon you hold while this ability is active becomes a +1 Flaming Burst weapon. You can use this ability on a ranged weapon, but can't apply it directly to a piece of ammunition. If you drop the weapon or give it away, the flame effect on that weapon immediately ends. If the weapon you hold has an enchantment bonus greater than +1, use the higher bonus. Activating or deactivating this ability is a free action, and the rounds in which you use the ability don't need to be consecutive, or, that thing you could have bought for yourself as soon as you had the money to pull it off. Yeah, I think we can do a little bit better than that. Exalted boons give us Dancing Lantern thrice a day, Continual Flame twice, or Daylight once. At 16th level, you can transmute the sun's burning rays into brilliant healing fire. You can add your exalted levels to any cleric levels you have to calculate the power of your channel energy ability. In addition, you can spend 3 of your daily uses of channel energy to channel an especially powerful burst of healing that manifests as a bright burst of sunlight around you. Anyone healed by your channeled energy sunburst who is currently suffering from a poison or non-magical disease can immediately attempt a new saving throw with a +2 sacred bonus to end the poison or disease effect. At 20th level, once per day, as a standard action, you can summon a Movonic Deva to aid you. You gain telepathy with it to a range of 100 feet. It follows your commands perfectly for a minute for every hit dice you possess, so 20 minutes, before vanishing back to its home. The Deva doesn't follow commands that would cause it to violate its alignment by committing evil acts, or could even attack you if the command is particularly, foolish to have ever asked a Movonic Deva. Now this might actually be kind of a sweet ability, if not for the fact that a Movonic Deva is CR10. By the time we've hit level 20, spamming a CR10 guy probably just means that CR10 guy got killed. I guess if you need someone to cast Cure Serious Wounds, 7 times, or somebody to dispel magic, remove curse, remove disease, then okay, yeah, sure, but I feel like somebody in the party already has that covered by now. So far, so bleh. For the Sentinel boons, we get Produce Flame thrice a day, Fire Breath twice, or once a day, Fireball. At 16th level, you are a talented healer and have honed your ability so that you can preserve your resources while you provide aid to the wounded. You can channel positive energy by consuming a single use of your Lay on Hands instead of 2. If you don't have the Lay on Hands class feature, or if you have Lay on Hands but can't use it to channel positive energy, you instead gain a +4 sacred bonus on heal checks. At 20th level, once a day, you can channel the effects of Sunburst through your weapon. You must declare your use of the ability before you roll to attack. On a hit, the target is affected as though you cast Sunburst on it, as well as taking normal weapon damage. The Sunburst effect you generate affects only the target you've struck, not an area of effect as it would normally. If you miss with your attack, the Sunburst ability is wasted. Now, Sunburst is a level 8 spell for everyone who gets it, blinding everybody and putting 66 points of damage on them. Creatures to which sunlight is harmful or unnatural take double damage from it. But if you hit an undead with this, they take 1d6 points of damage per caster level to a maximum of 25d6, and the burst results in the destruction of any undead creature specifically harmed by bright light if it fails its save. Yeah, sure, why not? An interesting side note is those who worship Sarenrae are allowed access to spells they wouldn't normally have. For example, Sunburst is an 8th level spell for druids, shamans, wizards, and those with the sun domain or season subdomain. But if you worship Sarenrae, your paladin can get it as a 4th level spell, so too can your ranger. Your inquisitor can get it as a 6th level spell, and your cleric can get it at 7th level. If you're going to be fighting a lot of undead, yeah, sure, why not? We can grab this. If you're not going to be fighting a lot of undead, we're still throwing an extra 66 damage down, and that's double against things like orcs. It'll probably go off somewhere. We're also going to point out here that Sarenrae is so powerful and so popular that she remains a core deity thousands of years into the future in Starfinder. The story hasn't changed. She still smites and redeems the wicked with the same amount of gusto. But in the Pact Worlds, the spiritual heart of Sarenrae's church is within the actual sun, in the Burning Archipelago's central city of Dawn Shore, which of course is super perfectly flavorful and fitting for the goddess of the sun. And that's all I have to say about Sarenrae. Do you guys have anything to add? Have you ever worshipped her? Have you ever GM'd for a character who has worshipped her? Or maybe sent a bunch of members of the Cult of the Dawnflower out to smack around the party anti-paladin? If so, throw it in the comments below and we'll keep the conversation going. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos. The next episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship, where we cover another core deity, Gazra, drops next Wednesday.